Hello, Struck Up. Extra Games, the developers of Torchlight Frontiers, released some information regarding the upcoming Update 7. Part of this is the name, it's called Beast Buddies, and it is scheduled for release on July the 16th. Torchlight Frontiers is the successor of the famous Torchlight franchise, which consists of Torchlight 1 and 2. Both games were successful, and the modding community made Torchlight 2 an even better game than what it was. One of the more notable and signature features of Torchlight 1 and 2 was the pet system. Update 7 in Torchlight Frontiers will introduce a revamp of the pet system together with a revamp of the relic weapon system. With Update 7, players will be able to collect pets, swap between them, collect pet skills, and assign those pet skills to their pets. Extra Games has also made sure that pets are both a part of a character's strategy and build, and that players can always choose their favorite pet without sacrificing gameplay power. This means that if a certain player wants a pet with specific color tone to it, but with specific skills, they might have to farm a bit, which is a good thing. It would keep us farming for pets, not just items, so it's a step in the right direction for Torchlight Frontiers, and something that many of us alpha testers have been waiting for in the past few months. You can read in detail on the Torchlight Frontiers website, torchlightfrontiers.com. Under the news section, you will be able to find this article that you're seeing on your screen. I'll kind of go through the basics of it. The history is that there are a lot of low down, dirty things that monsters of the frontier are known to do. And on top of that list includes walking up adorable would-be animal allies. It's your duty to find these imprisoned fur friends and recruit them to a life of adventure. This is what Extra Games has given us as a basic story of what collecting pets would be about. You can see the pet interface, which is still work in progress, I believe. You can see you can randomize a name or just set the name you want for the pet, and it tells you what skills the pet came with. So you have options. You can either send the pet home, you can swap it with a different pet, or release the pet into the wild if you don't want to have him in your pet storage. So upon defeating a boss and finding a pet cage, you will be presented with those specific options. You can see that you have a section of an active pet, and then you have a list of all your other pets that are not active. And you can see that there's a random number of skills, so it's not set in stone that a certain pet would always have those skills. The skills are random, the color of the pet is random, and the type of the pet is also random. They have decided to name the pet storage Pet Shelter, very befitting name, and it will be interesting what more besides what's shown you would be able to do. It says you can swap your active pet, rename them, check which skills they have equipped, or release them. So maybe that will be it for now, but maybe there would be more options. What we do know is that there are 4 skill slots managed from the skills menu under the pet tab. This was introduced in update 6, but there was just one skill, which was the basic attack as a placeholder there. Now we have 3 different classifications of skills: auras, buffs, and combat skills. Auras are passive abilities and they are always in effect. They benefit all nearby friendly players, so even if you're playing with some of your buddies on a co-op mode, the pet would be giving them auras, so you can kind of stack different auras from the different people that are playing in the game. It doesn't specify whether we can stack 2 times of the same aura, so if I'm using Defender and then my buddy is using Defender, could we get a stack of up to 10% defense to nearby allies? So maybe that's something I may need to ask the developers about. It says that only one aura can be active at the same time, but it also doesn't specify whether we can stack 4 different auras from 4 different players. Maybe that's the way it's meant to be played, and it will push players towards playing together and using pets with different auras. So you can see that the name of the first aura is Defender. It grants 5% defense to all nearby allies. The second aura is Deadlier Strikes, which is a great skill. I really wanted something like that. I've been saying in my streams that I want something like that added as a pet skill. It's a 15% increased crit strike chance to all nearby allies. The third one is Running Partner, which increases the movement speed of all allies by 15%. And the last and fourth aura is Increased Awareness. It gives you 10% chance to block regardless whether you're using a shield or not. Then we have the buffs. Buffs are abilities that are triggered automatically by our pets when we are within range, and they have a limited duration and also a cooldown. The first buff ability is Battle Cry. It gives 10% increased damage for 10 seconds to all allies within range and has a cooldown of 4 seconds. This pretty much means that you would always be having 10% increased damage if you're within the range of your pet. Then, the next buff ability is Defensive Posture. It gives all allies an additional 10% damage resistance for 8 seconds. It also has a cooldown of 4 seconds. This also means that we should have it up all the time once the pet is around us. The third buff ability is called Healing Friendship. So the tooltip says that affected allies gain 10% health and the cooldown is 10 seconds. The way this is worded sounds like this is healing for 10% HP every 10 seconds. Next up we have combat abilities. Currently there is just one added, but it says that those abilities are triggered automatically by your pet, they target your foes and have a cooldown. What we have for now is just Screeching Stun. A Screeching Stun is a stun ability, as you can tell from the name. It says your pet cries out with a chance to stun enemies for 2 seconds and the cooldown is 10 seconds. It's pretty nice and it can always come handy, especially if the game ends up becoming harder and harder in the later stages of the alpha. Extra Games has also added new pet types. The new ones are the Fearsome Wolf and the Scaly Dragonlink, as can be seen from this uploaded screenshot. We also would still be able to use the old pet types, but those are the new ones. As you probably have guessed, there's still plenty more to come for this pet system. Those are just a few steps towards the revamp, so later on there will be adding more features to that system and expand on it. What else we would be seeing on update 7, as I said, would be a relics revamp. Let me quickly show you some mock-up images released on the Trello on the public board regarding this system. What you're seeing on your screen now is a work in progress image released a few weeks ago. It basically is a mock-up of what the system for the relic weapons, the upgrades, the things we would be able to do. As you can see, here we have a level 20 out of 50 blood drinker as an example, and there are some traits to pick every few levels. So as you can see at level 50 and 25 there are some things that are locked that the user here cannot pick. We can see some fire icons, which probably means fire resistance or fire damage that we can pick from. And we also see something like a wave. Maybe that's a stun wave or shock wave, and then we see something like undead. So that's probably either undead resistance or undead damage. We also see that the ones that are unlocked start with some fire again. So that's probably fire damage or fire defense. We'll see what this is. Maybe something might be burning overtime or flat fire damage. So it's kind of split into different sections. It says active relic weapon info and progress. That's up there. We see the level progress and at what level they are at the moment. There will be some flavor text there. Then we see available relic points, which are used probably to unlock some of those things here. Then we see relic traits group. This is what we would be able to pick. I'm not sure whether we pick one or whether both of those are unlocked. This second row seems to have something like a cooldown maybe, and wife leech, and the other one seems to be also maybe wife leech and high vid defense maybe, or high vid damage. We'll see about this. And then at the bottom we see relic point budget. which seems to be capped at 50 points, which means 1 point per relic weapon level up. We also see that there are some active abilities which we can drag and drop into the active skills. That's an active relic skill, and as you can see, there are three different states: unlocked active state, and a locked state, which we cannot use. Then there's also an image showing that this lock means what level is needed to be able to use the ability. So we can see the amount to the next relic level, of course. We can see how many relic points we've spent on the budget and how many we have available. And then there is active relic in the HUD image at the bottom of this thing. You can see there is a relic ring around the player while the weapon is active. You can also see three different states. First off, we have a ready state, then we have active with fill, and then we have a cooldown state. So this is called relic weapon feedback. As you can see from this image, some other things are coming in update 7 Beast Buddies. So the list is Pet Collecting version 1, Pet Skills version 1, Relics Overhaul and Relic Progression, Character Creation and Select Screens update, Goblin Frontier Journey Revamp, Friends List, Nethering Monsters and Automatons Monsters. There are also some other goodies such as new monsters, new points of interest in the early goblin and infested areas, and breakables will now break more wonderfully. As you've seen the images that were showing up on the screen, the Nethering monsters would include some Spellbreaker upgrades, some Brutes, and some other interesting looking Nethering, and the Automatons would include Hulk variations and some variations of the Hulk, as well as an image that is showing you how big the automatons would be compared to a human's size. So this seems to be my summary of what we know so far will be coming in update 7. If you guys have something to share and want to discuss those notes, please do so in the comment section. I would prefer to hear from you guys in what you think about this. If you liked the video, you can let me know by hitting that button. And if you want to receive notifications when I upload new content, you can subscribe to my channel. And keep it cool, guys. Until next time, goodbye.